And we do have breaking news. Ozzy Osbourne, founding father of British heavy metal, the frontman for Black Sabbath, and a reality TV luminary, has died after a years-long struggle with Parkinson's disease.
Yeah, dies at the age of 76, just weeks after performing a farewell show. CNN's Stephanie Elam has more on his life and musical legacy.
Ozzy Osbourne, the legendary frontman of Black Sabbath and the self-proclaimed Prince of Darkness, defined heavy metal for generations with his wild stage presence, haunting vocals, and unapologetically chaotic lifestyle. Known as much for biting the head off a bat as for pioneering some of the darkest riffs in rock history, Ozzy became an enduring figure in popular culture, both a larger-than-life icon and, in his later years, a deeply human portrait of perseverance. In July 2025, at age 76, Ozzy passed away after a long, grueling battle with Parkinson's disease and lingering injuries, leaving behind a legacy that forever shaped rock music. In the days before his death, he performed one last time in Birmingham, England, closing out his career with a farewell concert that brought together his original Black Sabbath bandmates. But it was the final haunting photo he posted just before his passing, a quiet, eerie goodbye that has left fans reflecting on the end of an era. The final days of the Prince of Darkness. In the weeks leading up to his passing, Ozzy Osbourne was a man determined to go out on his own terms. Despite the toll Parkinson's disease had taken on his body and the injuries that left him unable to stand on his own, Ozzy was laser-focused on preparing for his farewell performance. This wasn't just any concert, this was Back to the Beginning, a reunion show with Tommy Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward, his Black Sabbath bandmates who helped launch heavy metal music into the world more than half a century ago. For Ozzy, it was more than a show, it was his final offering to the fans who had supported him through decades of music, controversy, and reinvention. His wife, Sharon Osbourne, spoke openly about his determination during this time, saying, quote, "Ozzy's working with his therapist every single day. He's doing really well, actually. Ozzy's number one thing in his life is his fans, so he's working hard to be ready for them to make this show the perfect way to end things." That level of grit defined his last few weeks. He went through intense physical therapy and training sessions, pushing himself to the brink just to make it on stage one final time. For fans, it was clear his heart had always belonged to them, even as his body began to fail. On July 5th, 2025, Ozzy took the stage for the final time at Villa Park in Birmingham. Unable to walk, he performed seated in a black leather chair, a king of heavy metal presiding over his court one last time. Dressed in all black, he sang 5 songs solo before being joined by his Black Sabbath brothers for 4 classic tracks that electrified the 42,000-strong crowd. The photo from that night, captured by Ross Halfin, now stands as one of the most powerful images of his career, a frail but unbroken icon soaking in the love of his fans. In that moment, Ozzy wasn't just a performer, he was a man saying goodbye on his own terms. The haunting final photo. The final known photo of Ozzy Osbourne, shared just one day before his death, is one that fans and historians alike will remember for years to come. Posted to his Instagram, the image showed a laminated poster promoting his farewell performance, a hauntingly simple image that now feels like an intentional goodbye. For a man whose life was defined by spectacle, this understated post spoke volumes. It wasn't a picture of him on stage or a dramatic moment in the spotlight. It was a quiet acknowledgement that the end had arrived. A gesture that now reads like a farewell letter to the world. The following day, Ross Halfin captured what would become the last candid image of the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy seated on stage during that final performance, bathed in dim lighting, draped in black, and soaking in the applause of the crowd. Quote, "You have no idea how I feel," he told the audience that night. The emotion in his voice was palpable. It wasn't just a throwaway comment, it was the acknowledgement of a man who knew he was giving his fans everything he had left. The photo encapsulates that raw emotion, showing a man whose body had been broken by years of illness, but whose spirit still burned brightly. This final image has been since shared worldwide, becoming both a symbol of his resilience and his mortality. It now serves as a bookend to a life that oscillated between chaos and artistry, a reminder of how far Ozzy had come, from a working-class kid in Aston to one of the most influential musicians in history. The contrast between his once energetic stage antics and his final appearance, seated and visibly weakened, only deepens the photo's impact. Years of struggle.
I can't believe I've come to the end of it. I'm so back up. The main thing is over now. I'm done with the surgery, but it's been 5 years of absolute hell for me and the family. My family have been so supportive to me, you know.
Ozzy Osbourne's death didn't come suddenly. It followed years of hardship and physical decline that left the rocker facing challenges most couldn't imagine. In a 2023 interview with Piers Morgan, Ozzy described his final years as, quote, 5 years of absolute hell. The combination of Parkinson's disease, a severe neck injury from a fall in 2019, and other health complications left him in near constant pain. Quote, my family has been so supportive, he said in that interview, adding, quote, I couldn't have done it without them. It's been a really bad scene. His words revealed a vulnerability that often gets overshadowed by his rock star persona. Jack Osbourne, who appeared alongside his father during the same interview, was quick to point out that Parkinson's wasn't the only obstacle. Quote, it's really the neck injury and the fall that he took, Jack explained, emphasizing that the cumulative effect of his ailments had profoundly affected his quality of life. Sharon Osbourne, meanwhile, opened up about how his health struggles had transformed their day-to-day existence, saying, quote, it changes your whole life. Suddenly you're off in another direction, and your life changes so drastically. It's really hard. For the last 5 years, our life changed dramatically. Even so, Ozzy continued to live with a dark sense of humor and pragmatism about his situation. In a candid interview with Rolling Stone, he reflected on the inevitability of death, saying, quote, I don't fear dying, but I don't want to have a long, painful, and miserable existence. I like the idea if you have a terminal illness, you can go to a place in Switzerland and get it done quickly. I saw my father die of cancer. These comments painted a picture of a man who had made peace with his mortality but wasn't willing to let it define him until the very end. A family by his side.
That's my biggest fear. Yeah. My biggest fear is losing a member of my family because we are such a unit and so close that we're nothing without the other.
Through it all, Ozzy's family remained his anchor. Sharon, his wife of more than 4 decades, was his most vocal supporter and caregiver, standing by him through the highs and lows of his illness. She spoke openly about the challenges of caring for a partner with a degenerative disease, acknowledging both the difficulties and unexpected blessings. Quote, on the other hand, she said, it's great that I've had Ozzy at home for 5 years. He's driving me crazy, but we've been together every day for 5 years. Ozzy's children, Jack, Kelly, Amy, and Lewis, also played crucial roles in his final years. Jack, in particular, became a public advocate for his father, appearing alongside him in interviews to clear up misconceptions about his condition. Kelly and Amy, meanwhile, provided emotional support and stayed largely out of the public eye, honoring their father's request for privacy during his most vulnerable moments. When the news of his death broke, the Osbourne family issued a statement that read, quote, it is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne has passed away this morning. He was with his family and surrounded by love. We ask everyone to respect our family's privacy at this time. A legacy cemented in sound. Ozzy's death marks the end of an era for heavy metal, but his influence will never fade. From his days as the frontman of Black Sabbath to his solo career that produced classics like Crazy Train and No More Tears, Ozzy redefined what it meant to be a rock star. His voice, once described as both chilling and oddly comforting, became the sound of a generation searching for something raw and real. Even his chaotic personal life, much of which played out on reality TV, only added to his legend, cementing him as a figure who blurred the lines between myth and man. Now it's time to hear from you. What does Ozzy Osbourne mean to you, and how will you remember his legacy? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.